Aunt Hallie? How old are you now? How old are you?
Oh, I'm just 94.
94?
94-year-old. Was in February.
You're 94 and a half then, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Where's your family from? Have they always been around this part?
Always been here.
Your grandparents lived around here?
All both sides. Those people and mine both always been around here.
Where was your grandparents born?
My grandparents?
Uh-huh.
Well, I couldn't hardly tell you.
But they settled around here?
Yeah, they was born and raised here. They was all, on both sides, always here.
Like farmers or?
Yeah, all farmers.
What was your parents' names? What was your parents' names?
Willie Brown and Ellen.
How many children did they have?
Just the two. One sister and me was the only ones there was.
What was your sister's name?
Just two of us children. And there was 10 of their children, my children. And my sister never had any.
Your sister never had any? Did she marry?
Yes, 3 times. Her husband's all dead, though. Well, her first husband had a girl. She was 4 years old, I believe, when they was married. And of course, she was almost same as her own to her. She raised her, you know, but she never had any of her own.
Where did she live?
She lived at Woodstock.
Woodstock.
And pretty close to then after she moved from there, she was still close to Woodstock.
And how many children did you say you had? How many children did you say you have?
That I had? I had 10. We raised 10 of our own and a grandson. His mother died when he was 10 months old, and we raised him. And I say 11 children.
Well, that's a lot, isn't it? How old were you when you had your first child?
16.
You married pretty young then, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I was only 14 when I was married. Too young.
Too young. How old was it? These cars going by make a lot of noise, don't they?
Yes, they do.
How old was your oldest when your youngest was born?
Let's see, Jenny's 78. I couldn't tell you just right now. The oldest and when the youngest one was born. I just don't remember. I'd have to study a little while before I could tell you.
You had them all pretty close together?
Yeah. Yeah, there was 2 of them that there's almost 3 years difference in, but the rest of them was about 2. Pretty close together.
Did they all marry? Did they all marry?
Yeah. Yes, have been. Some of them separated.
Yeah. How many grandchildren do you have?
I couldn't tell you. Last time I counted them, there was 74. And I've got more since that I've never seen, and I can't tell you just exactly how many it is. Ain't that a sight?
That's quite a crop, isn't it?
I guess I've got about, it's about 10 great-grandchildren. It'd be a show to see them all together, wouldn't it?
Take a pretty big place.
which I've never seen or never will, of course. They're just scattered around every place.
Where all do they live? Do you know?
Oh, some of them lives in Michigan and some in Ohio and some Delaware and some, oh.
Do you have any out west?
No. Let's see, Delaware, Michigan, Ohio, Florida. Oh, just scattered around right now.
Arizona and Hawaii.
Huh?
Arizona and Hawaii.
Yeah. Just scattered around every place.
Have you ever worked anywhere?
Huh?
Have you ever worked anywhere besides the farm?
No. My husband worked away. He worked in Ohio.
So you lived in Ohio?
We lived there 1 year.
Whereabouts?
And, you mean what part of Ohio?
Right.
I don't know. Lachlan.
What was he doing up there?
He worked at a box factory.
How old were you then?
How old were we then?
Right.
Oh, that's been about, how long, Lou?
Oh, I don't know, but I would say it's been 40-some years ago. You were about 50, around 50-ish then.
Or there's so many, and everything, it's hard to keep up with them all.
Where'd you go to school at?
Where'd I go to school at?
Uh-huh.
I went to school when I was real young in Rock Castle. We lived there. Oh, for a year, I forgot about that. Of course, that wasn't too far away.
What happened to your farm? Is it still?
What?
Where's your farm?
Farm?
Uh-huh. Didn't you lived on farm around here?
Yeah, at Bandy. What they call it at Bandy.
Was it a pretty big farm?
No, not too big.
But you made enough money on it to raise 10 children?
Huh?
You made enough money on it to raise 10 children?
No, not altogether we didn't. No, my husband worked most of the time. Had to.
Where'd he work?
Oh, just on the farm. Just the day's work mostly.
A while, too.
Yeah.
What do you do for the state?
What did he work at, Lou? Do you know?
He worked in Somerset down on in the offices or something down in Somerset on the road crew.
Yeah. Oh, he worked different places.
Taught singing a little.
Singing. He was away quite a bit.
How much difference in age was there between you and your sister?
My sister?
Uh-huh.
6 years.
Was she older or younger?
No, I'm 6 years older than she is.
She's still living down.
Where's she live?
She lives in Somerset.
Oh, does she? Do you get to see her very often?
No, not too often, I don't.
You had to take care of her when you were growing up?
Yeah. pretty much.
How'd you get around back in those days?
Huh?
How did you get around back in those days? Horseback or buggy or?
Two-horse wagon and buggies.
Weren't too many roads back then, were there?
No. Well, there's plenty of mud roads.
Took a while to get anywhere, didn't it?
Huh?
Took a while to get anywhere?
Walk.
It took a long while to get anywhere?
What did you say?
Said it took a long while to get somewhere.
Oh, yes, when you had to go in a wagon or a buggy, that way it did, yeah.
Have you traveled much in your lifetime?
Not too much, no.
Where all have you been?
Well, I've been to Michigan, I've been to Smokies and
Canada.
Canada. I just got all the places I've been.
I guess the world's changed quite a bit since you were born, hasn't it?
I'd say everything's changed, and people too.
I remember my grandfather told me that in his lifetime he'd seen from a horse buggy to traveling to the moon.
Yeah. Mud would be so deep, sometimes you couldn't hardly get through it.
What kind of house did you live in when you were 14?
Oh, just a big old log house. People back then lived in log houses, you know, son. Wasn't no real nice houses like you see now.
How did you meet your husband?
How?
Yeah, where did you meet him?
Oh, right close to where we lived always. I couldn't tell you just where.
Cut. Our grandma and grandpa was Jesse Reynolds and Sharena Cummins, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And did they have 5 boys and 1 girl?
I'd have to count them over before I could do.
Well, they had Uncle Bradford, Uncle Joe, Uncle Sam, Uncle Logan, Uncle Charlie, and Laura.
Yeah.
And they lived right around Dandy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Grandma died in 1917.
1907.
1917.
17. I can't remember everything like that, but I'm pretty certain I've got it in the old Bible someplace.
Yes, she died the year I was born. She died the year I was born. And then she died in 1919. All of them are gone now.
And then your grandpa lived, I forget how many years after she passed away.
I think I was about 13 when Grandpa died. I think he died in 1929. that's when.
Would you say that any of
I
your...
know they was all at our house. I know that, but I can't remember the years, every one of them, that they passed away.
Would you say any of your children did anything famous?
Do what?
Were any of your children famous for anything?
What'd you say, Lou?
Were your children famous or outstanding? Any of them done anything outstanding?
No.
I don't think they've done anything too outstanding,
No,
but they're a pretty good bunch of kids, I guess. She has children that's been really good to her. Isn't that right, Aunt Hallie?
Yeah, that's right.
What would you do it the same way you...
Yes, I never regretted it a minute.
You had a hard working life, but you had a lot of happiness in your life too, haven't you?
That's right.
You've always gone to church, took the children when you had to go in the wagons, and no other way to go. Always cooked for everybody. I don't know how you ever cooked all those Sunday meals to go to church and take all those children.
No, I had a pretty big job, but
What kind of advice would you give to one of your granddaughters that's getting married?
huh?
What kind of advice would you give to one of your granddaughters that's getting married about life?
What'd you say, Lou? Something about the granddaughters, but
He said, what kind of advice would you give a granddaughter today about making a happy marriage or about having a good home life or something?
What did I give the grandchildren?
What would you tell your grandchildren?
Oh,
If they were to get married today, what would you tell them the best way to make a home or a happy marriage and be able to live together as long as, like you and Uncle Logan lived together over 70 years?
well, I tell them about the same thing, I guess. Like Vern, when her and Joe come down here, you know, Bonnie's always cutting up, and when they went to leave, she says, Mom says, they come down especially for you to tell them what to do. I said, now, they're too old for me to tell them what to do. They're old enough to make up their mind to know what they want to do themselves, and then they won't have me to blame. So that's what I always told them all.
You were always happy with your in-laws too, weren't you?
Yes, I sure was. Well, I guess got as many as I have, and never had a short word with one of them or nothing.
Didn't have much fighting, huh?
No.
Hello?
You were married for 70 years?
That's right.
That's a long time.
Sure is.
You don't have any good advice.
Huh?
You don't have any good advice for your grandchildren about 70 years of marriage?
No, not too much.
There aren't very many people that are married 70 years.
Not too many people.
Well, what do you want to do?
Not too many people that live to be 94 years old either.
Some time of freedom there to where you could...
My husband's people,
Oh, okay. Well, is it already?
they both died at our house, and I waited on my dad and mother up till, my sister said come and got him today. And then tomorrow he had a hemorrhage and died. Never did speak no more.
Only yourself.
So I took care of them all.
How old was he when he passed away, your father?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they stay on her own. You keep her there. You just want to grandpa. She didn't ask me to get that. I said, I don't know.
How old were you when you got your first automobile? You remember?
So I'll tell him then when he gets through right here.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Have you ever driven a car?
Huh?
Did you ever drive?
No, I never did.
Guess you didn't have much need to.
Huh?
You didn't have much need to, did you?
No, I didn't.
Have you ever been in an airplane?
No,
Never flown?
never have.
Oh, no, I said I There's no set time. No.
Is there anything that you haven't done in your life you wish you had done?
Huh?
Is there anything that you wish you'd done in your lifetime that you haven't done?
No, not too much.
So you just do that, and that's to see you anyway.
Well, I'm glad to see them, but
Those
I
kids,
just thought maybe you'd rather be home than...
no, they're going to be going somewhere. The grandchildren are coming down and stay a week with, or part of the week with us before they go back.
Yeah.
But Helen's keeping them this week, and then they wanted to come out here and see you. They were going to see Dad Miller too. As many of us as there is in the family, I don't think there's any use of anybody having to stay by themselves at any time. I might have to call some up to come stay with me if I get scared.
Well, we never know, but...
Yeah, we're going to have us a little picnic after a while. Kids can play in the yard for a little while. So they can see you, because I don't know when they'll get back. Maybe a long time. You know, when they live that far away, they don't get home very often.
No, when they're so far away.
Aunt Hallie, are you a Republican or Democrat?
Democrat.
Doesn't take long, does it?
Have you been much involved in politics?
No, not too much.
You just about have to be, though, to be in Kentucky, don't you?
Huh?
You just about have to be involved in politics in Kentucky.
Yeah.
She had to hear enough out of Uncle Logan. He was involved in politics.
Yes, he was.
Did he ever run for office?
No, never did.
When he was in the hospital, just before he passed away, Thelma Stovall was running. And the last time we went to see him, he was asking if we thought she was going to make it. He talked politics all right up till he died.
Yeah, he always thought a lot of her, seemed like, and a lot of people didn't like her, but Democrat or Republican?
I'm a pilot. I'll fly them all.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a Democrat at heart. If Reagan takes any more of my money, I'm probably never will be a Republican. Why are you a Democrat?
I don't know, just always brought up like that, and all my people was always Democrats, and I just...
Are there many Republicans down here?
Oh, there's a lot of them, I guess.
Then we have a lot of mixed ones in the family, but mostly our immediate family are Democrats. We had a lot on our grandmother's side, Cumminses, I think, that are Republicans. We have all kinds of denominations and all kinds of people in our family. Married into different... We almost have the map represented in our family.
What religion do you belong to, Aunt Hallie?
Huh?
What religion do you belong to?
What church?
Oh, Church of Christ.
You still go?
Huh?
Do you still go to church?
I did when I was able. I ain't been able to go since I was sick this last time.
Years ago, if you had a house located here, you'd almost think you were in the boonies. And I said, no, you can just sit out here and see boats and everything else go by.
Yeah.
Different about the way people used to do, like young people that dated and everything. What was different about it then than what they do now?
Oh, I don't know.
What did you call a date back then? Where would you go?
Well, you'd go to church or just out and riding around or just different things.
Would you ride in a buggy or something?
No, horseback.
That was a nice day when you got...
Long before I was married, there was just a bunch of us would get together, you know, and take a ride like that.
Did anybody go swimming? Did women go swimming or anything then?
No, I never did hear of nothing much like that then.
So things have really changed.
Huh?
So things has really changed.
Oh, yeah.
If you had a date, somebody came to your house, did they stay late? What would they do? Would they come to see you?
Well, they just on to how late they'd be allowed to stay.
How late were you allowed to stay out?
8 or 9. Not too long.
Soon as church was over, you had to be home.
Huh?
As soon as church was over, you needed to be home, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a big wedding?
What?
Did you have a big wedding when you got married?
No, not too much. Had a big chivalry.
What's a chivalry?
Tell him about a chivalry.
Well, of nights, the day you get married, that night they chivalry you, and they just have all kinds of bells and everything, just all kinds of noises, you know, bells of all kinds, and shotguns and shooting around, and just, it'd be a sight to hear, some of them.
Will they just keep you up all night?
No, they wouldn't stay too long.
It's kind of like a big party?
Huh?
Chivalry, is that like a party? Big party?
I didn't hear you.
Is a chivalry like a party?
Oh, no, no. No, the ones that do the chivalry and just be out on the outside mostly. No, they wasn't.
Isn't it true they used to sometimes take the groom and ride them on a pole or something?
On a rail, they claim, yeah. Have no doubt of riding them, putting them in a tub and riding them around the house. Just everything like that to be a cutting up and have a big time. That's been a few days.
So, Aunt Hallie, you've been married about in the neighborhood of 80 years, right?
Of what?
You've been married in the neighborhood of 80 years.
Yeah.
You married in July.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have been married 80 years this last July, right?
Yeah.
1986 would have been 80 years for you married. That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
So you had about 70 anniversaries, isn't that right?
I guess, yeah.
What kind of chores did you have to do as a young girl?
Go to the field and hoe corn or just any kind of work that had to be done.
I guess you didn't have running water. Would you have a water well or?
No, people carried all their water and didn't have nothing like they've got now. No.
Had a little building, if you were lucky, to keep your butter and milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'd call it a little spring house.
No refrigeration?
Not too much.
How'd you keep your food?
How'd you keep the butter, you say?
How'd you keep your food without a refrigerator?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. You just didn't have too much over.
All fresh food, huh?
Didn't keep too much.
Did you have a lot of livestock on your farm?
No, not too much, no.
Guess you had to have a milk cow.
Yes, we usually had a cow or two. Yeah, people back then didn't think they could live if they didn't have a cow or two.
Well, with only two children in the family, you probably did a lot of milking, didn't you?
Huh?
You probably did a lot of milking with only two children in the family.
You mean me and my sister?
Right.
No, we didn't have too much. We usually had one cow most of the time, but people back then thought they couldn't live if they didn't have a cow to have milk and butter and what you raised to eat.
Did your mother make most of your clothes?
Huh?
Did your mother make your clothing, your dresses?
Yeah, most of them.
I guess you had to learn how to sew with 10 children, didn't you?
I never did do too much sewing. Seemed like the children always done the biggest part of it.
Can you name all of your children's names and where they live?
And where they lived?
Yes, starting at the oldest one with Jenny.
You mean where they always lived? Or?
Now, where they live now.
No, I couldn't.
Well, you know where Lloyd and, I mean, you're just your immediate family.
Huh?
I mean your own children.
You want to know where they live? All of them lives now.
Yes. You name your children beginning at the first one, like Jenny lives in Bandy and Bill lives in
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. Vern in Ohio. Bonnie in Kentucky. Henry County.
Yeah, and Bee lives here, of course. And Verner's in Ohio.
Bonnie.
Huh?
Bonnie in Kentucky.
Yes.
Ed.
Ed's in Ohio. Bonnie's in Henry County.
Carl in Broadhead.
Yeah.
And Lloyd in Bee Lick, is that right?
Huh?
Lloyd lives in Bee Lick?
Yeah.
Which did you have the easiest time with? The girls or the boys when they were growing up?
Oh, I don't know, but not too much difference.
Who's the baby?
Bonnie.
Is she spoiled?
Did you say Bonnie? Who was the baby of the children?
Right.
Bonnie's a baby.
Is she spoiled?
Was she spoiled?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bonnie's only 54 now.
Huh?
Bonnie is 54 now.
Yeah, be 55 in October.
So she's 24 years younger than Jenny.
Yeah.
Before they died.
Huh?
Who took care of Grandpa and Grandma Reynolds before they died?
Of your grandpa?
Yes.
I did. They were both at our house when they passed away.
You must have had a bad time.
Yeah, I didn't have no easy time. She was sick so long, you know. She got so that they had to turn her in a sheet. She got so bad, and they'd be four of them turn her, you know, get a hold of each corner of the sheet and turn her like that. And they wouldn't much more get her laid back down until she'd come and call to me to come and turn her. Said that they didn't turn her like I did, you know. I got right up in the bed and turned her many of a time just for myself.
You were expecting Lloyd at the time, too, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. About 3 or 4 months before he was born.
Did you have all your children at home?
Yeah, I've had them all at home.
Did you have a midwife, or?
Had the doctor was part of them, and midwife was part of them. And your grandpa, he just took, like, he got up sick this morning and died late that evening.
Do you know what was the cause of his death?
No. he always told me if he got past eating, he'd be done. And that morning he got up and wouldn't eat none. Passed out then before, passed away before night that same day.
Well, I would say you've done a good deed in your time. But I think you're well respected and well loved for it.
I sure ain't got nothing to worry about that I mistreated them.
That's a good feeling.
What's been the hardest thing in your life? The hardest thing for you? What's been the most difficult thing in your life?
You mean the hardest thing in my life?
Uh-huh.
Giving up my husband, of course.
How long ago did he pass away?
Huh?
How long ago did he pass away?
How many years? That's what you mean?
Right.
8, be 9 years. It was 9 years in September.
I bet that was difficult after so many years together.
That's right. You don't remember about your grandpa or none of them, do you, Lou?
No, I can remember seeing Grandpa, but of course I
See,
never...
there was Sam and all of them that wouldn't keep them, you know.
Yeah. Good deed by all of us. We always felt, since we had no mother or daddy, we always felt that us kids always felt that we...
always tried to.
And if my mother could have lived, I'm sure she would have seen and appreciated all that you did for us. I've always felt a little spoiled myself.
Huh?
I've always felt a little spoiled. I used to tell Uncle Logan when I talked to him, I used to say, "This is your favorite niece." I really had him going, but I'd say that he'd know it was me, because I'm always the talker of the bunch.
One side didn't they do the other, you know, but I told them that's one thing I always tried to treat everyone just the same.
I'm going to see if I can go in there and see where that Bible is.
Okay.
And then we can put it, close it. Aunt Hallie, these are the records that she has kept. She is the only person that has kept the records. And it does have here our grandfather, William Jesse Reynolds, and he died in 1929. And we have his wife, our grandma Sharina Reynolds, died July the 28th, 1917. And this is, that's just another repeat there. And there's our oldest uncle, Brad Reynolds. He died in 1935. Now she has some of it. It is really getting worn, but she has done a wonderful job keeping records of the family. And that is the original, as you can see.
Aunt Hallie,
Uh-huh.
looks like you've used this Bible quite a bit.
Yes, I did.
She has many records in here. She has it, I suppose, in here of her mother's side of the family, but I don't use this Bible because they treasure this.
What'd you say, Lou?
I said this Bible, we don't all use it because it's treasured by you because...
So many of the children, grandchildren, it was full, you know, and I put their names around the edges, and it's even wore off, and some of the names off and gone.
But nevertheless, if you look through here, you will find the records of most of the births and deaths of the immediate family. The left top is Jenny. The next one is Bill. B. On the second row is Clyde, Lloyd, Verna. And the bottom is Carl, Ed, and Bonnie. Those have been taken, of course, at different times. I couldn't tell you anything about their ages. Of your children. That starts at Jenny, Bill, B, Clyde, Lloyd, Verna, Carl, B, and Bonnie. Now, is there anything at all that you could say about Jenny in particular that you'd think that she'd like to remember, or?
No, I don't think of nothing now.
What kind of a child was she?
What kind of a child was she?
Uh-huh.
Well, she was just I thought a good child, but don't know what somebody else might have thought.
What do you have to say? Okay. What would you have to say for Bill?
I'd have to say the same for him.
And there's B. Same thing.
I have to say the same thing about them all.
Well, that's a pretty good record when you look at all those children and all you have to say is that they're good.
Any of them ornery?
What'd you say?
Are any of them ornery, he said.
Ornery. I don't know what part of it might be. I don't know.
I think everybody has a little bit of orneriness in them, don't you, Aunt Hallie?
Yeah, I guess so.
Basically, they've been good kids, though, right?
Well, there was none of them perfect back when they was younger, but I think there's a big difference in them all now. She didn't have Herschel's picture, did she?
No, Herschel was killed. He's the one that's not in here. And of course they raised Harold. He isn't in here either.
And Clyde was gone a month of 8.
Clyde passed away last month.
Hallie, he's doing real good.
Well, okay, but don't get on the road.
Yeah, one of them hairpins, let me put your hair up. It's too hot.
I told her it brought so many things back in memory and all that I probably never would have thought of them more.
And she said that you didn't make her tired at all.
Well, good.
Did you ever have time to keep those records?
Well, I don't know. I would just take time. Or I'd have it or not. I'd just take time to keep them down.
If it hadn't have been for you, if it hadn't have been for you, we would never have known.
No, I guess not. Never known have been the rest ever. Taking that time.